Brilliant. Yeah, we're rolling.
Simon, first and foremost, Cozzy till 2034. It's a long time. How do you feel about it?
Oh, look, we're incredibly excited to have Keziah Pickett, part of our footy club long term, and I think everyone, especially our supporters, see the talent that he has. Everyone internally loves what he brings to our footy club, and we're incredibly excited that he's been able to commit. And I think it says a lot about our footy club, about where we're at and where we're going. And for Cozzy to sit there and say, "This is the club that I want to be at," it's fantastic for our supporters and everyone involved.
Is there a lot of relief for you getting that signature?
Oh, look, obviously it's been a high talking point for a number of years now, and we've worked incredibly hard with Cozzy to make this a place that he wants to be and sees a real future here in Melbourne. And by signing such a deal, indicates that that's the commitment that he's got for his footy club and his love for the footy club. And obviously he's an exciting player. We think he's got enormous growth still left in him. We think he can be something incredibly special, and that provides enormous stability for our list moving forward, and we can make some really strong decisions around that deal.
Obviously there was murmurs that he wanted to head west. What does him signing this contract show that he believes in the club, I guess?
Oh, I think it shows an enormous belief that he believes in the playing group, he believes in the environment, and he believes that Melbourne is a club that he wants to be at. And he's always said for a long time that he loves the Melbourne Footy Club, and he's just had to spend some time adapting to the Melbourne way of living. And we worked hard with Cozzy to make sure he's really comfortable and has a great opportunity to get home when it's needed, but also knows that how much we love him and how much he wants to be a Melbourne player. So I think it's just a huge sign of confidence that Cozzy's really comfortable with his environment, as is Ardu and Bellany, his family, and look after him incredibly well.
Was there any one person you could sort of put it down to that really helped him get over the line? Like, has he been doing extra work with Max, let's just say yourself? Like, was there one person?
Oh, I think it's a total club. It's everyone involved. Matty Whelan is our Indigenous Welfare Officer, who does a fantastic job. Mark Williams does a great job in development. And all our players, build an environment where people can be, have a place where they belong. And, Cozzy feels that. And obviously with the commitment that he's got to his footy club, it's a sign that, we've got things in good order.
A few years ago, the club let him spend a bit of the pre-season back home with family and gave him that bit of flexibility. Is that the sort of support you can put around him so that he doesn't feel that homesickness? Yeah,
that's for every player. We know how incredibly important family is for every player, and we give that opportunity to all our players, whether they're from Adelaide, from Perth, from anywhere around the country, that family is a priority for us, and being able to have players that have time with their family is most important to us. So we won't only just do that for Cozzy, but we'll do that for all our players when the time's needed, and there'll be times in everyone's career where they'll need to get home for certain opportunities, and we're very open to that.
What do you make of the game on Monday? Did it sting more knowing it was so close?
Yeah, look, it was a tough result in the end, but in the same time we brought an enormous belief in terms of how we're playing. We were disappointed with the outcome, but incredibly proud of how we went about our footy. I think in the last 6 weeks we've been able to prove to ourselves, first and foremost, that if we execute the things we're looking to in our game, that we can stack up against the really good teams in the competition. Our challenge is to keep improving and to keep building that consistency to do it week after week. And there's no bigger challenge than this week and going into Adelaide Oval against Port Adelaide and putting up a good show again.
It's a bit of an emotional rollercoaster Monday, because obviously all the pre-game paying tribute to Neil, and then how close it was in the end. How do you sort of come down from that and put that aside to regroup for this weekend?
Footy doesn't let you carry on for too long. You got to regroup, and there was a lot of emotion on Monday. Obviously a really special day for Neil and the MND and the big freeze, and obviously the game was a really big game, but this game doesn't wait for you. You move on pretty quickly. We reviewed it strongly. We were really happy with some things, but we've got some things that we need to work on. So we went straight back to work. We turned our attention very quickly towards Port Adelaide, and we know we've got a huge game up for this week. We need to start getting some positive results, and that's what we're going after.
Speaking of emotion, Stephen May and Max Corner had a bit of an interaction sort of post-game. Did you sit them both down during the week, or did you let them resolve themselves?
Yeah, look, they had a chat themselves, but I've also sat them down. I've also addressed it with the group. Clearly we don't want that look on field, but we also understand we play an emotional game. and we've got two passionate guys that love winning and love their footy club, which is fantastic. But we also understand that's not the look that we wanted on field. So we addressed it, and we keep moving forward. We don't make a huge issue of it. We address things, and we keep going forward.
And you're confident it's done there, like they've resolved, patched it up?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, look, they get on incredibly well, Max and Stephen, and they understand and got enormous respect for one another. As we do for them, they do an enormous amount for our footy club. We love what they bring our footy club. They know that they didn't quite get it right on the day, but yeah, they're incredibly close.
How do you see this weekend's game? You're quite evenly matched with Port Adelaide on the ladder this season, and last few games have been really close as well. So, what are the key points that you're looking at?
Yeah, look, it's two teams that have valued the similar things for a long period of time. Obviously, knowing Ken Hinkley's sides, they're incredibly strong in the contest. They value a front half game, and they do it incredibly well. And when they get that type of game on their terms, they're incredibly hard to beat. So that's why the games are very tight normally. Both teams value similar things. So as I said, we know we're up against a big battle come Sunday. But it's one we're looking forward to. We love getting over to Adelaide Oval and really embracing that type of environment.
It was a pretty selfless role by Ed Langdon on Monday.
Yeah.
Could you see him doing that again this week? Zach Butters, kind of Rosie, a type like that?
Yeah, look, we were really happy with how Ed played. It was outstanding. But one thing we've been able to do is to use multiple different players in that role. What we now know is that we've got Ed Langdon that can do it. We've got Clayton Oliver, Jack Viney, Trent Rivers can all perform a role. So we'll go away in the next couple of days and work out what's best for our team this week. But we've added another layer to our personnel that can do certain things for the team.
Speaking of Jack Viney, it must be awesome to have him back.
It's fantastic. He's now done a hell of a lot of training. He's almost done a mini pre-season in the last month to get himself right. But it's just great to have him back. He's our vice captain. He's incredibly special to us, and obviously working through his concussion and then a broken hand. We're rapt to get him back.
Thanks, Rudy. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for watching, D's fans. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe right here.